You hear it everywhere, right? Every business owner is being told they need to use AI. But what does that really mean for you? How do you actually tap into all that power without getting seriously burned? Well, that's the tightrope we're going to walk together today. Let's dive in. It really all boils down to this one question, doesn't it? When you look at AI, you're kind of staring at two completely different futures. Is it this incredible engine for growth and innovation? Or is it a huge, unpredictable risk that could end up causing way more problems than it solves? The path forward? Well, it isn't always so clear. And that's exactly why I love this metaphor of walking an AI tightrope. See, on one side, you've got this massive opportunity, the reward. But on the other, there's a whole bunch of really significant challenges. Ethically, operationally, you name it. The goal isn't to avoid the tightrope altogether, it's to learn how to walk it with skill and, most importantly, with confidence. And let's be real, these risks are not small. We're talking about things like bias mitigation, making sure your AI doesn't start favoring certain customers over others. Then there's regulatory compliance. You've got to navigate these huge data privacy laws like GDPR over in Europe or CCPA in California. You also have to think about your own team. How do you help them adapt to these new tools? It's a lot to juggle, for sure. Okay, so with all those risks, how in the world do you get across that tightrope? Well, you definitely don't do it with one giant, terrifying leap. The whole strategy, the key, is to shift your mindset. You've got to focus on small, manageable wins first. That's how you build momentum. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. AI isn't some kind of magic wand. It's a tool, and it works best with total clarity. Give it a specific, manageable job, and you'll be amazed at what it can do. And these little victories, they do so much more than just make things a bit more efficient. They build your team's confidence. They create a culture where real innovation can actually take root and grow. I mean, just look at a real-world example like TrueBridge Inc. They didn't try to reinvent their entire company overnight. Nope. They used very specific AI tools to help with customer engagement, and bam, they saw a 20% jump in their sales conversions. That one single measurable win proved the value and totally paved the way for bigger AI projects down the road. Okay, so if small wins are the goal, you're going to need a plan, right? The safest way to cross that tightrope is with something we're calling the hub-level AI blueprint. Think of it as your strategic guide for building your team's AI know-how, right from the ground up. So what is hub-level AI education exactly? Well, it's really just a structured way to get everyone in your organization on the same page. The goal is to build this solid foundational knowledge of not just what AI is, but its practical uses, the ethical guardrails you absolutely need, and of course, the security practices to keep your business safe. And the process itself, it's beautifully simple. It just breaks down into 3 parts. First, you define a super clear goal. Second, you map out the actual practical steps to get there. And third, and this is so important, you use real-world applications and case studies to make it all feel real and tangible. Goal, steps, application. That's the heart of it. Now, a blueprint tells you what to build, but a playbook tells you how to run the plays. So let's turn this whole concept into a practical set of actions you can start using right away. This playbook has 5 key steps. First, you assess what your team needs. You find out what they already know and where the gaps are. Then you build a curriculum to fill those gaps. Third, you create a hub, like a central library for all your AI guides and resources. Fourth, you bring in experts to get fresh insights. And finally, you have to monitor your progress and get feedback. It's this continuous loop of learning and getting better. And to make it even easier, here's a super simple checklist you can scan. What's your strategy? How are you going to handle education? What's the timeline? What resources will you give your team? And how will you measure if it's even working? This is the kind of one-pager that can get everyone organized and moving in the same direction. And when you're finally ready to pick an actual AI tool, this 4-step framework is going to be your best friend. Always start with your business needs, not the shiny new technology. Then look at your team's skills. Choose a tool that fits both. And please, please, always pilot small programs first. Test it out, learn from it, and then you can scale up what's working. All right. We've walked the tightrope, we've got the blueprint, we have the playbook. Now, it's all about taking that knowledge and turning it into real action. It's time to make your first move. So what can you do, like the second this is over? 3 things. 1, engage your key stakeholders and get them on board. 2, allocate a budget, Even a small one shows you're serious. And 3, network with your peers. I promise you, there are other businesses on this exact same journey. Learn from them.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most important question. I want to leave you thinking about this. What is the one small, totally achievable AI win your business could get this month? Forget about changing the world overnight. Just find that one thing, go get that win, and start your journey right there.